we have a grand crew today. We have Samantha, aka Curvy, Confident, and Nervous.
Hey y'all.
We have, of course, Brandon, the OG of the Pull Up Experience itself. Of course, your guest host, Britt. And we have businessman, entrepreneur, author, philanthropist, mentor, husband, father. The list is endless. Mr. Larese Purnell, welcome.
Thank you. What's going on, team?
What's
going on? Yeah.
Y'all got me in the building today.
Let's
do it.
It's been a long time coming. We appreciate you, man. Yes.
Yes. I'm glad to be here, though.
Yes. Great.
I remember we started this thing. We literally said when we first started the podcast, we said so many names when you think of entrepreneurship in Cleveland that you think of. You know what I'm saying? Of course, your name came up. So we literally say, okay, we gotta have them on. You know what I'm saying? So 134 episodes later, and here we are. So God is good.
1, 3,
That's
4.
right.
No, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's right. So I grew up on 143rd, so maybe that. So the numbers mean something.
Oh, okay.
I might have to go play the number tonight.
Be right behind you.
Look. If you lose, I didn't tell you to go play.
I'm only gonna do 50 cents then.
50 cent box.
No. We see Sam rolling around. I'm like, Sam.
And look, if my gas tank is on full, that means my number hit.
That's right. Said no 5 on pump 3.
Right. Not today.
So let's start from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And anyone who's seen the interview typically know where you came from. But let's start from the very beginning. Let's start from where you came from, so people know.
So I'm gonna say briefly, just to kind of share is, I just thank God. I have to say that I'm gonna jump ahead and go back. Mm-hmm. I thank God for where I am today because based on my story. They see your glory but don't know your story. Mm-hmm. You would never know that I came from where I come from. Yeah. People now, they see, they think what they would say success is, and they'll evaluate and say, oh, he came with a silver spoon in his mouth. I didn't even have a spoon, let alone lights, let alone a key to our apartment. So in this city of Cleveland, I grew up all throughout Cleveland. Yeah. And we didn't know from month to month at times where we would live. So it's still to this day, before I go speak on anybody's stage, if I do a keynote or something in this community, I ride past those shelters. And the reason why I ride past those shelters is what it does, it keeps me low to the ground. So I never think that the word that God has me doing is me. It's Him just using me as the vessel to make sure I impact His people and their lives. So for me, I use those things again to keep me humble, keep me close to Him. I live by the 3 H's, y'all. Holy, hungry, and humble. And it's because of the way I grew up. So live with my grandmother, live with my auntie, live with my uncle, them. Went to live in the Virgin Islands. Did that. My mom was getting away from my crazy father, my sister's father at the time. Came back here. We lived with my grandmother on 143rd. My aunts, everybody lived on that street. I felt like we owned the street. There were so many of us. Like, somebody didn't have sugar. We go across, you get eggs. Went down, she got bread. I'm like, by the time we did the walk, we had breakfast. It took about 4 houses to get a full meal, though. Based on the time of the month. But all that being said, then we landed. So when I moved to Warrensville, it's the first time I was stable in life.
And how old were you when you moved to Warrensville?
So I was going into 7th grade. Okay. And I moved there, and I'll never forget, and the first place I visited when I went to Warrensville wasn't the school. It was the Goodwill behind a store that was called Pick and Pay back then. So it was a grocery store on Northfield and Emory, and we went to the Goodwill when we first moved there to go buy clothes for me to go to school. And my mother, because we couldn't afford the new stuff, but what she would do is, one thing I give her credit for is she would keep it clean and keep it pressed. So you thought my gear was new. So I'll never forget, what was amazing about that story though is I got best dressed.
Wow.
Look, shout out to all the thrifters out there.
I got best dressed. And they don't even realize they gave me best dressed because my mother kept me so clean and my stuff was so sharp. So she would go in there and find the polo and find whatever was out there and didn't even know. And so that's a lesson for now when we talk about money and how to make sure that you don't just look good. But look, y'all got me started today.
No, listen, that's a great start, by the way.
Yeah, so. That's a little about my story, man.
No, that's a great way to say it, because I think as people, a lot of people tend to think they're self-made. They think that they came from, you know what I'm saying, like they got there on their own and whatnot. And the fact that you keep it back to God, you acknowledge Him, and on top of that, you don't forget where you came from. I think that helps for anyone to be a great success in life.
Nobody is self-made. Don't let nobody ever tell you they're self-made because somebody helped them to get there. Somebody was behind that door that they needed to open. Always remember, somebody gave them access to that table. Somebody gave them access to resources. So don't let nobody, I don't care how rich they are. If Diddy was sitting here, he would say somebody gave him an opportunity. If Jay-Z was here, somebody helped him buy. Somebody had to bring the opportunity to him.
Yeah.
So if he didn't create the company, somebody said, hey, you want to be an investor?
Right.
So that's somebody helping him, right?
Absolutely.
So that added value to his net worth. So for me, I'll never say that word, I was self-made. I had angels in my life that changed my life. And I'm grateful to them for why I'm here today.
That's good stuff right there. And I want to give you a follow, by the way. So you don't know this. So I've been watching you since I was a kid. Word Church.
Okay.
Teen church. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it was men like you, the deacons and the elders of the church, that showed me as a young black man, it's possible to be a loving husband. It's possible to be a loving father. It's possible to prosper in the community outside of the norms of, you know what I'm saying, doing things illegally. Like, I want to give you your flock. I don't think you know. I was watching, brother.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
that, man.
You showed me what's possible. You know what I'm saying?
And you're the reason why I do the work I do.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's young brothers like you that keep me encouraged. So when I take shots, people shoot me in the back of the head and I can't see them because they don't do it in front of me. They do it behind me. You know, I look at people that are in front of me like you that I understand are listening and they need it to change their lives. So,
absolutely.
Okay, so, but no. Y'all, I told y'all gonna get me started.
No,
It's me and Brittany over here like, I'm literally over here like, give this man a show on the network.
So let's start. Okay, so growing up in high school, was entrepreneurship always in your mind, or is it something that you grew into? Or were you typically, like everyone says, like I was selling candy in the class?
So what was so crazy about that? I used to sell candy. I used to sell novelators. And literally, the good thing about my story is I have people who I got the receipts. People can verify the stuff that I did. If you ask people in Warrensville, they'll say he's never changed. He was always a guy who gave back, respected the women, and he always made sure that he was, even my teachers, I don't have a teacher, I don't think, that did not like me. Even if I failed a test, they loved me. Because it's the way I carried myself. I tried to show them honor and respect, you know. And I used to sell candy. I used to sell whatever was with the hot thing there. I'm going to find a way to get some so I could sell it. But the thing I would tell you is, when I look back, though, where I really think that I truly became an entrepreneur and I didn't know it until I got older, is shoveling snow. Arian Kirkpatrick is one of the most powerful black women that operate right here in the city, one of the largest black women-owned construction companies in Cleveland. Her mother, Miss Kirkpatrick from Warrensville, God bless her, you know, she's no longer with us, but she took me in and adopted me, her and her family. And what they did was she would say, come over here, I'm going to show you. She would be out doing yard work, and I would just be sitting there like, oh, that looks cool. And she's like, here, take this trim. I'm going to show you how to trim bushes. But I'm thinking she's, you know, just showing me, wanting me to do some work. But she would always pay me, though. She would say, you don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to pay you and put some money in your pocket so you're not doing stuff, making this bad decisions. But what changed the game was, and this when you talk about why you collaborate, why you give back to people, you know, and they don't know why you give back so much, is because she gave back to me. What she would do is, she started picking up the phone when she taught me. So be very careful what people are equipping you with. Sometimes people are giving you tools that help change your life, but sometimes you blocking it and saying, no, I don't want to do no work. But the woman was putting a tool in my hand that was going to help me buy those J's, that was going to help me buy food sometimes. And then she started picking up the phone and saying, hey, you know, Miss Mary down the street, Larese can come help you. Hey, Miss Smith down the street, Larese gonna come help you. Miss such and such down the street, Larese is gonna help you. And next thing I knew, I was doing a whole freaking street of Shermer in Warrensville. So I look up, I had a clientele. Didn't even realize it.
That's good.
And then what happened was that the young boys in the neighborhood started to see me. And they'd be walking by and just bouncing their ball, and I'll be out there hot, like, where y'all going? And they would be leaving me, and I'm like, well, don't worry, I'm going to come when I'm done, but he's going to be back right here. And they start saying, you know, we don't want to play basketball anymore right now. Where the money? You know, where the money reside, right? So what they started doing is they start coming with me, and I looked up, I had like a 5-man crew. And we would meet in the winter at the top of the hill, and I started to delegate. hey, you gonna go handle her. You gonna hurry up because she got to be at work in 30 minutes. Go get that person, go get that person. And what would happen was the trucks weren't out, so we would beat the trucks. I said, if you want to work with me, you got to come out when it's dark.
Yeah.
Because when the light come on, everybody already up. Because the light woke everybody up in the neighborhood. I come out while people still asleep. You know, so again, that really was game changing for me. All the way, literally, I had a job at McDonald's. When I was 15, right there on Emory. It's closed now. Then I went to work at Kids Foot Locker there. I was still shoveling snow while I was doing that. So what I would do is shovel snow. The mall didn't open at 11. By the time the mall opened, I already made the check I was going to make for the whole week because I shoveled snow. So it's how bad do you want it? It's all on how bad you want it. So again, I go back to that statement. They see your glory and don't know your story. They don't know the sacrifices that you're willing to make. So again, competition is only with yourself. I don't have competitors. It's nothing I do. I don't have, Ernst & Young in the accounting field, Deloitte, all these big companies. No, I don't worry about them because if you, like they say, the racehorse. The racehorse. If you look, usually the average horse race loses it by less than 2 seconds. So if I look over for 2 seconds, I lost the race. So I don't have time. I stay focused. Me and my family stay focused. So while people are like, oh, well, he should do, nah, I'm staying right here.
So I gotta ask this question. So you were talking about shoveling and the neighbors reaching out. So tell us a little bit about the village that you had growing up.
Yes.
Because everything starts, it's very foundational.
It's a support system.
Absolutely.
And that's amazing. If my dad walked in to this place right now, I wouldn't know who he was. And I say that story because I've had great men that I call angels in my life. Why do Larese Purnell help entrepreneurs? It's the Mr. Parkers that own Parker's Barbershop on 143rd. It's the owner of Snack Shack. In black-owned 143rd McDonald's, that's no longer there. It's a Family Dollar. That used to be there, was black-owned. The gas station, Sunoco right there, Abby's, all that. The laundromat were black-owned. Those guys were the ones that used to keep me off the street. Either I was going to gang bang, sell dope, or I was going to go there and wash people's cars. So when they pulled up, can I pump your gas? He didn't let nobody else do it, but he would let me do it. But by the time I got in, didn't even know entrepreneurship. Again, I was giving other people access. Hey, if you follow my rules, I'm going to make sure you have access. You get pumped 3 and 4. I'm going to take 5 and 6. And you're going to do 1, 2. And then you're going to do 3, 4. And we're going to do this as a team. So then, again, that's giving access. Because he wouldn't let nobody else do it. But again, it was men like that that really showed me the way and how to be a blessing. And how that you can keep people off the streets. So again, it was literally, I will remember, you know, my friends like, dude, I'm in such and such now. And I would be like, oh, shucks. Like, you in a gang? Or I would see my young guys carrying pistols. And we was like young. And they was carrying pistols. And it was just like, okay, that ain't the way I want to go. And my pastor, and our God rest his soul, used to say to me, he was 131st in Miles. He would tell me, he said, God has something special over your life. He would always speak that over my life. He said, there's something different about you, so I want you to move different. So he would say it to me at a young age, and of course, I'm young. I'm like, what does he mean by special? Like, am I special in which way? You know, ain't nobody ever told me I was special. Like, they loved me, but they didn't tell me I was special. So again, I started to walk in that because I had men who would push me and speak that into my life, and they actually protected me, even down to where even the dope boys in the neighborhood, the dope boys, even some of the ones y'all have had on this show, used to be the ones used to look out for me. We're going to talk it real. They would say, Larese, you already knew. He would be like, don't touch him or y'all going to have a problem. You know, a lot of them guys used to be like, that guy right there, he walked through, he got the street pass. Don't touch him. He got something different he doing, and we're going to make sure he get there. To this day, that's why I rock with those brothers today. So when everybody judging, well, why you rock with such and such and such and such, because again, you don't forget where you came from, and the people who got you there, you want to make sure that you never let them see that you didn't forget them. So I would just say, man, it was a lot of angels in my life that would, and to this day, I want to share this because this is really important. YMCA downtown Prospect. If y'all remember the YMCA downtown? Yeah, everybody remember that. I learned how to box there. I learned how to swim there. I learned how to play a little ball there. That's where I would go every Saturday. A young attorney would mentor me, and I would catch the 15 down there, and I would get off at Public Square and walk up Prospect to get there, and I would go there every Saturday morning, and he would introduce me to other professionals. I was a young black man, and I'm like, okay, I was intimidated to be in a room with all these whites. And the blessing and the story again to this day, now I'm getting ready to be the board president of all of YMCA Cleveland. I'm getting ready to help build a YMCA in the black community, $27 to $32 million project, and I'm going to lead that project. So again, you just never know the tools somebody going to put in your life. I could have told him I can't come to the YMCA. I could have told Ms. Kirkpatrick I don't want to pick up that, that trimmer. You could tell people, so be very careful, again, that you don't accept sometimes the tools that God is sending through people.
Sorry, y'all, because we all saw
that. I was leaving the air just clear for a second, because between what I'm listening to today and then everything I heard yesterday, and I'm gonna be very honest, I knew who you were, but I didn't necessarily know all the things that you did. So I'm sitting there last night and I'm just listening to this list and this board, and I'm just like, oh my God, like this, I need to be in a room with this man just to. I don't know. It's something I just can't explain, but it's very organic and it's very spiritual. It's like if this person came from this and made nothing out of something, it's possible. It's very possible. And then when I heard you talk about the relationships you cultivated from the dope boys looking out, we don't talk enough about how our relationships can really cultivate us and get us to where we need to go. I mean, relationships can be super powerful depending on how you use them.
If they didn't protect me, when I used to walk through the middle of gang meetings on my street, would I ever be sitting at a board table?
Right.
So again, sometimes we think about the opportunity and not who got you through your calling. So again, for them, those were the guys that when everybody was out selling dope, people was out fighting, they was like, hey, bro, go home. This ain't you. Take your butt home. We got you. And I was crazy enough. And Larry them will tell you, David and all them will tell you, I used to like to fight. So because I was a little young, light-skinned boy. I was skinny. I was real frail back then. So they used to be like, oh, who is this dude? Like, be picking on me until I knock him out. Then they like, oh, okay. Like,
that's such and such people. Y'all better leave him
alone. You just got knocked out. Like, how you knock him out? Like, so, but all that being said, so I had a little chip on my shoulder from that perspective. But again, it's guys like that will be brothers for life, man, because, again, they always made sure I was good. When my mother was tripping, when days I didn't have no food in my house, I remember Larry I'd be like, man, I don't have no money. And he'll send me and David to the store and he'll be like, here, take that 20 and y'all go get some. Me and David, David literally was like a brother growing up. Like, we used to spend the night over each other's house. Like, hey, where we stay tonight? We stay on your mom's house. We stayed on my house. What we doing? Like, that's how we used to kick it. So again, and I could talk about Rodney, guys from Buckeye, could name guys from 93rd. Like, them guys truly used to look out for me, man. And to this day, when I see them, it's nothing but love. And even what I value about some of those guys, if to this day they ain't right, you know what they do? They love and respect me enough, they stay out the way. But if I need them, they always say, I got you, right? So when I see them in the streets, they like, I got you. If you ever need me, right? They give me that look like, you know good. Right. You know what you know, that you good. But I'm going to go ahead and you keep doing what you're doing. We need you to stay where you at. So again,
that's a whole other level of respect.
Oh, yeah.
To know that you good anywhere you go.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And the fact they respect you enough for your reputation, they're like, I'm not going to let you be involved with this right here. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep you out of that. That's right. So we don't tarnish your name. You know what I'm saying? That's love. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Especially in Cleveland. Like, that's huge.
I'm saying Cleveland, you get in trouble just walk down the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but the fact you got people navigating that path for you, I think that's awesome right there. So let's talk about. So we got high school, we got college. When did you narrow it down to you like, okay, I know what I want to know. I know what I want to do going forward in life. Because you had the mentorship, you had the components here, you had opportunities. But how did you navigate? Okay, this is what I'm called to do right here in this aspect.
Parents, be very careful when you give your kids direction on which they should do.
Oh man.
Because sometimes what we do is we put our issues on what you want their success to equal. Because you didn't go to college, you telling them how what you want to do is live through them now. So you say, hey, I want to be a doctor, so you gonna be a doctor. Well, you want to be a doctor. I don't even like math.
I hit that one time.
I don't even like math. Or because the family was poor, I need you to do something that's gonna get the family out of debt, get the family where we create some legacy. So now I'm doing something I don't even enjoy doing. So now I'm not even active at college. I'm not getting the best grades because again, I'm not doing what I'm in purpose to do. A lot of people don't know 4-year degree in pharmacy. That's the craziest thing.
We're talking about
so let me back up. So I don't even share that a lot of times because people don't even know that part of me. Because I thought I was going to be a pharmacist. I went to school, I'm going to be a pharmacist. I was great at math, could do math in my sleep. Then until I took a test, you know, at college, and I got to share this because sometimes you don't know what you know.
Yeah.
I literally aced a calculus 2 test in college. And I had an Asian professor, and I literally was the only one. I messed the curve up, what they used to call. I messed the curve up. I messed the curve up. I messed the curve up. And he told me I cheated. Well, I was too young to know, so he made me retake the test, and I aced the test again. And the reality is, the problem I have, though, is I couldn't explain my work. Because the stuff, it comes like, with numbers, it just comes like I can see it. I come up with a formula, I get it done. But then the question I asked myself when I look back, how did I cheat if everybody in the class failed?
Right.
Hello.
Who did I cheat on?
Right.
So if I knew what I knew now, I would have sued that college. It might have been to build a name after me, and we could have did a podcast from there.
Look, I'm like, it's not too late to get a.
Look, I might want to go back and check it out, though. You know,
might get a whole door.
Like the statute of limitations or something. You know, don't get scared, UT. I ain't coming back. But no. So college. So I'll say that. What happened was I went to go work at a pharmacy called Food Town in Toledo. And I started working there, and these pharmaceutical reps would come in. And I was like, oh, that's the business side of it. So you know what I did? The last year of school, they said we're going to add the business school and the pharmacy school together. I started taking business classes and was a dog at it. I'm gonna give myself and when I say a dog at it, I was enjoying it. I was in class like, oh, I think I found something. And when I say I found my passion, then I said, okay, what area do I want to go into? I'm good at math. So what I want that, the second degree to be in. So what I did, I ended up doing a dual degree. I got it in finance and accounting. Then I said, okay, I like this. And the lesson in that is, now let me jump ahead, and I got my master's in accounting and finance, did that, and ended up going and doing that, never used the other degree, but because I found my passion. So sometimes we chase money, but we have no happiness, and then what happens is you come out of college, you make $100,000 as a pharmacist, but then because you don't have no passion, you never grow. You never could become a pharmacy manager. You never own a pharmacy because you're not in purpose and passion. But what I did was I went to business, and I might have made $50,000, $60,000, but guess what? Now I own my own company. Now I own multiple businesses because I'm in passion and purpose. So now I see some of my friends that are pharmacists, and they like, oh my gosh, I need to do what you're doing. So again, operate in what you love, and the only person that can tell you that is you. So when God gives you a vision, it is encrypted. So don't get frustrated because your mom and them don't understand. Because if it was meant for them to see it, it wouldn't be encrypted. It would be plain as day for them to see. So when He gives it to you, it's where nobody else understands it.
So I gotta go.
Listen, I'm over
just keep it playing the whole time.
I'm like,
he's spitting fire today. Oh my goodness.
I think we all been there where,
Go ahead, you do your quick recovery. Talk about y'all mama now. They made y'all do something. Let's talk real.
Sorry, mama.
Look, we all over here like, I don't even want to go to
that school. What? Yes.
So, okay, so let's talk about your first endeavor where now we got past, you went to school, you found your passion. Let's talk about your first failure. Talk about that. Let's talk about that.
So,
and what you learned from that.
And I'm glad you asked. I told you, B, I said, ask me some questions that people don't want to. I don't know why they want to ask me questions like that. They always ask me the textbook questions.
No, we want the real deal.
Tell me how CLE, what day did you start? Where was you at? How many employees? No, ask me. No, I failed at 24 years old. Lost everything. When I say not some things, I lost everything. Because what happened was, I knew I was an entrepreneur. friend of mine came to me, said, hey, we're getting ready to do a building project. You know, we're getting ready to build homes. And these were, I was at a young age thinking big.
Yeah.
He was building $250,000 to $300,000 homes then. He bought about 12 acres of land. And he was going to put multiple homes. And he believed in me. He said, come with me and let's go ahead and do this together. And I'm like, okay, let's rock and roll. I said, he was like, well, you know, you're going, and when he looked at the asset, he's like, you're going to have to put, you know, your house up, you know, do a second mortgage on it. You're going to have to take all your assets, all your stocks you have in your company now. And I only been working 2 years, so I ain't got but, what, 8 stocks? I'm worth about $300 liquid, you know, so I'm like, but I had decent credit. So we went ahead and did that, you know, and what happened was, then you guys know what happened in 2008.
Oh, the
crash. So what happened then, it was right around that time it started to get really leery, and I lost everything. Because we started to build homes, but then banks started to back up on what they were going to give people. So when you talk about like everything, like I lost everything. And you know, it's so funny. I go back now and I look, and they developed that place now. And I ride through the street, mad at everybody walking down the street. I'm looking like I should have owned all this. Like I'm mad at all y'all. Y'all got the white picket fence out here, the little dog. Like this should have been mine. Like, but you know, but no, seriously. And the funny thing is, my wife, actually, I rode her through there when we were in Toledo. And to be funny, the funniest thing is, I told her about the story, but I didn't tell her we rode through there and while we were riding through there. I just thought about that as I'm talking right now, because I'm a person, I'm very visual. I like to go back and see stuff. I go down my old street all the time. You know, I go down Broadway to shelter. I go on St. Clair to shelter. I do that because it does something to me to say, man, God, thank you for that second chance, third and fourth and fifth chance. So I would say that's the first time I failed at something and I didn't know, and I was young, so I was afraid, am I ever gonna come back from this? Did I lose everything? Like, is it any comeback from this? So then it was that, you know, but before that, not business, because this is important I share, why I teach financial literacy. Because I got to speak to that when we talk about money and losses. When I left college, I had my kids when I was getting ready to leave college. I had them young, and I was working full time. When I look back at it, I would go into a factory and work from 11 to 7. I had to be at class at 8:15. I worked at a dry ice factory. If you know anything about that, 75-pound bricks, I would be picking them up. I would have my book on the thing. I would be reading, and everybody would be like, man, he's focused. But I knew I had a family to take care of. I had things I had to get done, and I had to get this done. Because if I didn't, I had to go back and live like how I grew up, and I did not want to live like that. So again, but through that all, I had 4 payday loans. It got so bad they used to show up to my job. They would show up to my job. They would show up to my job. They was like the furniture people. Now some of y'all might remember that. You ain't pay the furniture. They downstairs knocking on the door like, hey, bring that couch out here.
I was gonna say
open the door. And they would bring the police if you ain't open the door. So, but the payday loans had gotten that bad where people had stopped paying them. You know, times had got hard. And what I was doing is going from one payday loan to the next payday loan to the next, because what it was only good the first time you got it. The second time it was like you trying to like tread water.
It's predatory, man.
It's predatory. And then the next one you was like, okay, I gotta get one to pay that one back, to get another one to pay this one back, to pay this one to get this back. And I looked up at one time I had 7 of them. And I was going from place to place. So I would spend Fridays, sometimes being late to work on payday, because I would have to go from place to place to place to place. And I was a young professional. And you talking about why I do the work I do? It ain't about nobody. I'm not looking to be seen. I'm not looking to get no accolades. I'm doing this stuff because I don't want nobody to go through what I went through. That's good. And for me, that's why I would go downstate and fight against payday loans. They'd be like, why is this young guy, like, he won't let up off of this? Like, I would have senators. I would have people calling me like, who is this guy making all this noise about this? And that's why I became the board president of Faith Community United Credit Union, the largest black-owned and operated credit union in the state of Ohio, because I'm like, we're going to change this, and we're not going to allow our people to be broke. And if we don't stand up, if you have access, God gives it to you for a reason. He didn't give it to you for you to hoard it. So what we do in our community, I love us, but it's 3 things that we deal with. Mental health, that's real. We deal with some hate, and we deal with being selfish. And I'm gonna say, I hate to say it, y'all. I love all y'all.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna stop me from doing it. But the reality is, we can't get these resources God has imparted in us and not share and give back.
Come on.
Hello.
Let me hear that one time.
Look, and I have to ask this from somebody from the outside looking in, and I'm being keeping it real.
Let's go.
I'm like, I don't know him, but I see him do this, and that. He must be this way. He must be that way. What's the biggest misconception that people have about you?
Oh, that's so good.
You want it real?
You made me sit back in my seat.
Yeah.
So, and now, honestly, it's the most hurtful part of what I do. And because one thing is, I love people.
Yeah.
I am a true Christian man.
Yeah.
And my wife, and the only people who can evaluate is the people who have to live with you.
That's good.
True.
And it's like, so I don't really worry about what people evaluate me in the streets. It hurts because I'm human. But the reality is, they get to see the real me. She gets to see my flaws.
Yeah.
She gets to see the real. She gets to see my good, bad, and ugly. And I thank God for her that she deals with it. But my kids get to see it as well. And I'll tell you that, but that's probably the most hurtful thing is people, y'all hear the word arrogant. I hear he doesn't collaborate. I'm like, I can't collaborate no more time. I won't have I won't be married. Like, if I collaborate anymore. So all that, and I don't just collaborate with my time. I collaborate with my resources. I don't walk into a black business and let them give me something for free. And my wife can stand on that. We're going to make sure we drop money down. And I'm not going to ask you for no discount. I don't care how bad the service. I'm going to still pay you. And I'm going to call you later. And I'm going to tell you, hey, this is maybe what you should consider. And enough people respect me enough because I'm going to deliver it in a love way. So.
Hey, listen.
Time out.
Yeah, so.
Because I love how you just sit there because you pay the full price and then you say, okay, maybe you consider it this way or whatnot. Come on. That's a whole principle in itself right there.
Because at the end of the day, you know, well, we have to understand 1.2 black-owned businesses across the country. The number is going to change because of how many people register to be a business, but they're still a solopreneur. Only 140,000 of them actually have payroll W-2 employees. So if we only know that out of millions of businesses, 12 million to 14 million businesses, only 140 of them that have employees are black-owned. So what do I value making sure that I kill them so they can't operate? My goal is to make that 140,000, 280,000, make it $1 million. So again, we have to support them and make sure a discount. It's like you don't ask McDonald's for no discount.
I was just gonna say that.
Like you don't be at Walmart like, hey, this is $186. Can I get 7% off on this?
Yeah.
Guess what? Security gonna come take you to your car. So, but we'll do our people like that. Like, hey, like what I used to hate when people come to my business, they be like, hey, Larese, but you want me to see you, so you think I'm gonna give you a discount, or you think the meal gonna be free? Like, I want you to see me that I'm coming to support you, but when you see me, I want you to smile because you like, oh, he coming to drop it today. Because I'm coming here, me and my wife gonna try everything. We gonna come and we standing right here in the area. So Grill 55, they know that we come in, the whole table gonna be filled. I'm tasting this, and half the time I'm not even hungry. But when God give you access and resources, I talk about money too. So I'm there just to spend the money even if I don't want to eat it.
Right.
Because my assignment is to come through this door because I have a little margin, which we all need, margin in our lives, so that I can then make sure I'm not blessing while I'm there. And then when I do that, I want to make sure y'all stuck on the 18% that everybody put on their ticket now, but that ain't all you supposed to leave them. Because somebody living off of that, taking care of kids off of that, you supposed to leave them an additional 18% if you got it like that. I'm only talking to you if you got it like that. But again, it is our job and our role in this community to be a blessing to each other. Because you never know when they're going to be a blessing to you. So that same person, server, might come to my restaurant and eat and be a blessing to one of my people, and it's a cycle. It's a cycle, but so if you might be breaking the cycle if you're not doing your part.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Right. We all started here as we go through the interview, but these are amazing things that I don't think too many people consider, and it's like what do they call it? A shift in your mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because this isn't privy to us before. Because you give a nice little $5. Let's see what you got in your wallet or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Just that they'll be all right. No, like you said, people are living off this. People are feeding their family off this. And if you have it, like you said, we get it. Sometimes you might not have it, but if you have it, you know you got it or not. Give it and whatnot. And like you said, and it's a cycle. And I love how you said that because I don't think enough of us. And I'll get to it later on. One of the questions I ask everybody on the podcast is, in Cleveland, collaboration is not something that we're privy to. Or how do you think we change that? And your example of that. But we'll get to that later.
Okay. but to fully answer that, because I got really passionate about that answer.
Seriously.
But I will say that is the thing that is hurtful. When you make the sacrifices you make. Oh, I can be honest. I've driven home, you know, at night, and sometimes I will sit in my car and cry all the way home and say, God, why am I doing this work?
Wow.
Like, you know, they beat me up publicly. People leaving nasty comments. You know, I'm hearing rumors in the street. And I always ask the question is, do you even know me? Have you ever met me before? Stop judging people you never met and you never around.
Come on,
because all that is somebody else's perception. And we all know, even when you're in a relationship and you're married, y'all have different ideas of things and different thoughts and different perceptions of everything. So that person who's telling you that, one, you got to ask, make sure you pay attention to the source that's giving it to you. I say, while they giving it to you, evaluate what they do. So you talking about what the man don't do, then since you telling me that, tell me what you do. And then say, are you even a viable source to be telling me something about somebody I see execute? So again, we use the wrong sources to get our information. So again, I would say that's probably the thing that kind of keeps me up at night sometimes. It's like, man, like, am I, and I'm very big on self-evaluation. Because you can't lead others until you first lead yourself. So for me, it's like, I read a great book, Identity Leadership, Stedman Graham. It talks about that, leadership. So I'm always self-evaluating. What could I have done better? Should I have said this better? That's why on my page, if you ever watch my social media, I don't put jokes on there. I don't put stuff, buffoonery on there. Because when people come to my page, they come to hear, and they want inspiration. They want to be challenged. They want to talk about uplifting each other. So again, I take that very seriously. And again, I just say to people is get to know people for yourself and be very careful what the source is, because people have their perceptions, and we know, again, that's why I gave you those three. I hate to say them, but we got people who have internal issues. So their internal issues, they put them on everybody else.
They just project it.
And they project it. And the reality is, I need people to love on me like I love on this community. I need y'all prayers more than I need any hate. Because at times, I got enough hate from people who don't want me to help black people. So black people can't kill me if I'm trying to change y'all lives. And sometimes I need y'all power to help me stand up straight. Because sometimes I'm leaning over. And I'm leaning over helping y'all. And then y'all killing me because y'all don't realize I'm not getting killed just by us, but I'm getting killed by every other community that don't want to see us be helped, because they make money, they get rich off of us being in poverty. So again, pray for me. Lift me up. You know, give me a high five when you see, give me a hug. Because I'm telling you guys, some people say, Larese, you're going to put yourself in a box helping black people. Stop saying all you're going to do is help black people. And I have black people tell me that. Stop doing that, Larese. So again, that's all I would say to y'all.
Oh my God, Larese, you got
wait, look,
the
hairs on my arm are sticking straight up. You can't fake that.
Not at all.
You can't fake that. No. And you know, you said something key that we were talking about before you got here. It's like people think I'm this way because they see me on social media, and it's like, but you don't know me.
Right.
So, and I said earlier, I've been wanting to get in a room with you, just for myself, to hear, to listen, and it's nothing but positivity. And like, listen, my energy don't lie. Seriously, so I'm just glad to be here listening. I'm absorbing everything like a sponge today.
Go, Sam.
No, so I want to talk. We'll be here all day. We talk about all the collaborative efforts that you have. But my question to you: how do you choose your collaborative efforts to join? Like, how do you decipher? Okay, I want to be part of this. I want to be part of that. How do you go into deciding which parties to be a part of?
So, just because I tell y'all to support black businesses, don't mean you should support all black businesses.
Sorry, excuse me.
Just because people want to collaborate with you, don't mean you're supposed to collaborate. Don't let nobody force their vision on you, because sometimes there's just no connection there. And the reality is, if you know who you are first, don't mean you're supposed to be with everybody. See, I know I'm a man of God. I know I have integrity. I try to be as consistent as possible.
Yeah.
I'm far from perfect. I'm far from perfect. But I know what I stand on. I love my family. I love my wife. If you out here cheating on your wife, but you trying to run stuff to help black people, you can't be around Larese Purnell. Because I don't even want that spirit to jump off on me.
Yeah.
Like, it's some spirits I don't want to jump off on me.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, you know, I get beat up about that. Larese, and as much as I collaborate, I still get beat up about I don't collaborate enough. Man, it's hard to get to Larese. It's hard to do this. But people don't know everything I do. They don't know I'm like a rag doll. If I had a shirt on right now and it depicted how much I get pulled on, the shirt would be shattered. It would be in pieces right now because I get pulled on in a million different ways. Because when people feel that you're doing something and you're execute, I actually tell people that actually speaks to that I must be executing something that people want to be around me to do something. But I would just say, so I give people that reach out, and I am, like you, Sam, you talked about your spiritual part of you feel the organic and how we feeling right now about each other. That's the way I discern. So people be like, well, I don't care that you got a couple followers. I don't care that you're going to do an event with 5,000 people. I don't care about that. That doesn't matter to me. It's how I feel when I'm talking to you. If I feel that you ain't about helping our people and you ain't legit and it's an opportunity, again, so I'm walking in my calling. Opportunity is transactional. Calling is for a lifetime.
I'm sorry.
So again.
It's not episode, by the way.
so you might be walking in something. That's the first and last time you're gonna do that. I got to make sure what I'm doing here, I'm going to maintain the trust of our community for a lifetime. So I got to make sure that the decision is made right. So I would just say to you, you know, people, that's something that, again, I get punched in the head. Like, oh, he want to be seen, or he want to do this. And I'm like, well, y'all ain't up all night. When I don't go to sleep, and my wife is like, why is he up walking up all night? Why is he outside walking his dog at 2 in the morning? Because he needs some fresh air, because God is speaking to me and I don't want to go to sleep because I'm afraid I'm going to miss what he's telling me, because I know somebody needs what he's putting inside of me. So they don't know those nights. They don't know when I tell my wife, we can't do this because I need to do this, or give this person this blessing because, and I came and I told her, I said, babe, God is telling me I need to do something to be a blessing, and I can't sleep on this. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, babe, and when she first met me, she used to be like, oh my gosh, like, Larese, stop. And I said, babe, the one thing I'm going to ask you to do, if you're going to be my wife, I love you, but don't ever stop God's calling on me. Because I listen to you. You only listen to the people that are next to you. Remember, people that aren't attached to you aren't a distraction. Because you ain't never coming to my house for the barbecue. You ain't never going to be around my kids. So really, you should really not even listen to that. But the people next to you can be your biggest blessing and your biggest distraction. So I would just say, you know, and my biggest prayer, and the last thing I'll say about collaboration, is if you have somebody that's connected to you, don't only ask God and pray for him to keep his hands on you, or to give you, make sure your eye gates and your ear gates stay wide open. You also pray for them as well. So my prayer for my wife is always, God, give her everything that you're putting in me. Make sure you connect us. Make sure you put it inside of her as well. Even if you don't want her to execute it, put it inside of her so she can feel it with me and we can vibe together. And then what I don't see, Lord, give her set of eyes, clarity, so that while I'm talking and interacting, that she can see what I don't see. So again, like I tell people, be very careful with Rashonda, because she watching you. Oh, she watching you. And she watching you.
You actually brought up a good point too, because I can't help but realize throughout this interview, you definitely mentioned, you know, your wife, your family, and I think that people tend to forget that behind every great man is a great woman.
Absolutely.
And I think you kind of touched on that, because that was actually one of my questions: is how does she help as your helpmate to impact you, to be able to impact our community here in Cleveland?
He who finds a wife finds a good thing and finds favor in the Lord. And in the reality, that is not, you know, that is a scripture. And I'm going to tell you now, a great man is only going to be so great without a great woman. And God, the word talks about marriage. It talks about respect of your wife. And that's why I can't taint that. That's why I can't get caught up sleeping around. That's why I can't get caught up with other women's in my DM. I can't afford to do that because it's going to taint the thing that's most powerful to me. And the reality is I got to make sure I cover that so she can keep covering me. But if she's broken because I broke her down, then how can she be a blessing to me and make sure I'm a blessing to y'all? So again, for me, that's why last night, you know, and not to date this, and you know, you could edit that out. But you know, we were at the Pink and Black Honors, and I'll tell you, I got up there and I watched how broken our community is. I said, "All fellas, stand up." Some of y'all remember that?
Yes.
And they didn't even know where I was going with that. But the reality is, black men, we have to protect our black women. Is that they gotta see, we get it hard, but they get beat up by white women, white men, and they get beat up by us. So we gotta make sure that we are protecting them, because at the end of the day, they are the foundations of our homes. We are the leaders of our families, but they're the foundation of our homes. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, clearly, I couldn't do it without her, man. When y'all beat me up, and when I hear the negativity, when I hear the things that I know are untrue, that's who is my safe place. That's who is my blanket. That's who keeps me warm, and I can go home and cry on her. And this work, I'm going to tell y'all, that's what I wasn't ready for. I wasn't ready for all the negativity that comes with it. When you being a blessing, I wasn't ready for that. But I'm going to tell you, God sent me the right woman, because she always be like, okay, you got through that? Now let's go. Get back up and let's go.
I heard that one time.
Let's go. And she was like, babe, and he's giving her so much. It was, I'll say the final thing about this. What's so powerful, though, is she gives me advice on things that she's never experienced. So again, that's why I say, make sure that you know what you're praying for. So when I say, God, give her wisdom beyond what she's even experienced. So now I could talk about the boardroom, and my wife ain't even in corporate America, and she'll give me advice on the boardroom, and ain't never walked through a boardroom in her life. So it's, again, so that's why I say it's the power in the woman you marry. So women, watch who you marry. Men, watch who you marry. Because again, they can either help you or they can hurt you. Y'all heard me from a financial perspective. Either she going to help you fill the bag or she going to help you empty it. So you got to ask yourself, which one do you want?
So, look, I don't want to slow this train down at all. So I have to ask, how do you all, both of you are entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
How do you all find balance in all the things that you do?
Do some more questions.
How we find balance?
They need to come for me.
I'm scared of her. I find balance because she's scary. If I don't come home and we don't do certain stuff, I'm scared, because she not gonna let me, like, not have balance. No, I'm just joking now. But I am scared of her. But no, seriously, she does a great job, you know. And shout out to my wife, and she's been a cosmetologist stylist for 20 years. She's a beast at it. Clientele crazy, stay busy, and she booked and busy for real. And so when y'all see her in them streets, don't just give me a hug. Give her a hug, because while she's standing at those galas with me, while she's standing at those events with me, guess what she not doing? She not working. So she losing money to sit there and be my support. So when I talk about the power of who you marry, the reality is she could be booked on a Saturday, but she's sitting at somebody's event, hugging on y'all, high-fiving y'all, high-fiving me when I get off the stage. So again, I'm stopping her business while she being a blessing of mine. So again, I would just say to you guys is, she does a great job. You got to continue to date each other. The worst indictment that I never want to have happen is, and I said it last night, that's why I shouted out my kids, I shouted out my wife. It's like, y'all can clap all y'all want. I got to go home to them. If I die today, and at my funeral, they have to say, man, all the work my husband and my dad did was amazing, but I never got time with him.
I'm sorry.
Then there's no value in what I did. I want them to be able to celebrate and know that, hey, you know, he while he was still loving on y'all, he was loving on us. And we felt the difference. Now, as much as I love y'all, I don't love y'all more than them. So you ain't never got to guess who go first. That woman, those kids, it's my priority. Then I love y'all. It's a different kind of love. Right? In relationship, you got buckets, right? It's buckets, it's levels to everything. That's another level. You know, it's God, and it's my family, then it's y'all. Okay, so don't ever get it twisted. That's why. Be careful. You don't ever talk about my wife. We're gonna have a problem. Because that light and that heart, I don't ever get it twisted. That ain't real love. Because let me get sick and see who show up to the hospital.
That's real. I love how you said. He said that was also powerful because you said, well, some people gotta guess like who they love. Do you love this fame? Do you love this social media? You love these attributes? You gotta guess. Do you love? You say no. You already know on top who in my corner, who I love.
That's right.
And I love how you said that's powerful stuff right there. This is a great interview, y'all.
Look, we was on time for the pink and black honors.
We got to turn. Come on, y'all. Keep it going. Keep it going.
No, absolutely. So okay. All right. So I got a question, and this is something that like I said, we can list all the different businesses that you've been a part of, but once again, I want to ask. So I want to talk about the Black Box Fist because that was when I seen it and I seen you guys put together. How did that go about? Because I know you guys were friends before that. How did y'all, not saying structure, but how did the idea come to be, and how did it come to fruition? Like how y'all structure that? Because a lot of people, they have friends they want to collaborate with, but how did y'all make it so it was still business, but yet at the same time it was still where your friendship was still intact?
Yes. So in Business Be Men, I would go to the Bible. The Bible is the best book you could ever read.
That's good.
And it's like if you actually read it with purpose, and maybe if you don't know how to read the Bible, when you're going through an issue, put in that word and say, give me a scripture for that word. So if you're dealing with business, Google Bible and business. If you're dealing with money, Google Bible and money. Most talked about word in the Bible. But you deal with marriage, put in that. And that's what my ground is. And so what I would say is, in that, that's my boy. Yeah. That's my brother. That's my sister. That's actually my wife's first cousin, LaToya. Eric's wife was my wife, but didn't even know. That's not even how we connected. That's a whole nother story. But all that being said is, what we've never to this date, and I'll back up and answer the question, is we've never argued about money. To this date, never argued about money. Meltrice at CLE, we've never argued about money. You know why we never argued about money? Because we did business first. Before we got into business, we filled out an operating agreement, a partnership agreement to make sure that, because guess what? I could sign this today and die tomorrow. Then what? So who owns what?
Right.
Yeah.
So does my kids own this? Does my wife own this? Who owns what? So again, it's like what you do is once you put those documents in place, what it does, it protects you from having to have a conversation. So it's some conversation we don't even have to have.
Right.
It's like, okay, you got this percentage, I got this percentage. We made $1,000. If you got 50%, I got 50%. You get 500, I get 500. We got tax liability. You got 50% of that liability. I got 50% of that liability. But when you trying to guess, what happens is you let feelings guide your decisions and your business. So then guess what? I just talked about this with somebody just recently. You, for example, go out of town for 4 weeks because your auntie in Alabama gets sick. And so you got to go see her because she helped to raise you. But guess what? You own 50% of that business. But y'all didn't talk about it. So he here working for, or she working for that 4 weeks while you gone, and she made all the money. But because y'all don't have nothing to write, you come back thinking like, okay, we made $10,000. I get $5,000. You get $5,000. She said, well, no, you were gone for 4 weeks. And I was making all the money. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. And when you get back and do some work, you can get some of the money. But what an agreement protects you from is, it don't matter if this month I make a lot of money and you make nothing, we get 50-50. If you make a lot of money and I don't make nothing, 50-50. So again, put documents in place so they protect relationships. It's no different than putting a will in place. Y'all all know, we can all attest to this. How many times has somebody died in our family and cousins that y'all ain't seen in 20 years come and take in the wash machine? And he pushing the grill down the street, don't even have a car, and he live about 80 blocks away. But he gonna get that grill home. You know what I'm saying? So again, because you didn't put that document in place, that will, what it does is, grandma, no disrespect, grandma, you killed the family because you didn't do your part. So what you did not do is you didn't protect the family. Because now that you gone, God rest your soul, the cousin, the sisters, the aunties ain't going to talk for 20 years now over your fur coat. So it's the same thing in business. If I put it in place, guess what? We can go off the document and we don't have to go off of your feelings. So again, just make sure you document yourself. And that's where I always talk about that power of 5. Hire experts if you're going to do business. Because either you're going to pay now, I guarantee you, or you're going to pay later.
You been in my family business?
You literally talking about something right
now? No, I literally was over. Before you even got here, we had this discussion.
Yeah.
So this is how I know today is in perfect alignment.
Absolutely.
Because that was definitely just a full circle moment.
Absolutely.
About being prepared and having paperwork. Because we don't like paperwork.
No, we don't like it.
It's confusing. It's confusing.
Slow down and
understand
speed up.
it.
Slow down and speed up.
There you go.
I love how you said it because, like I said, a lot. So I believe people watch these interviews and they're either beginning entrepreneurs or people who haven't fully encompassed their protect their businesses and whatnot. So, like you said, operating agreement. That probably is like, oh my god, I've done that yet.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh
yeah, what's that?
Right.
Right? No, so thank you for that.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, because I know you get the same cliche question. We're not going to go down that road or whatnot, because I love what we're doing right here, you know what I'm saying? Because this is a great conversation. What keeps you motivated now that you have done what you've done thus far? What keeps you going? Like, well, I mean, because I know for most people, they like to say that they want to hit a certain point in their life or a certain pinnacle. What is that for you?
Success has no period. Goals have no period. Success you'll be chasing for a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost. So for me, it's like I don't have a goal where I got to hit. If I talk to 10,000 people, my career is over. This is a life work. So again, what will happen is I feel like the only person who's going to evaluate my success and the work that I did here on this earth is God when I go home. He'll say, son, well done, and he'll show me everything he has for me. So what I'm just promising myself that I'm not going to leave nothing on the table. When I get to heaven, I don't want him telling me he opens a door and say, all this was yours, you just never did the work for it. So again, that's what I strive towards. And I would tell you that the biggest thing for me that drives me and keeps me motivated, though, is, you know, the prayer we should pray is not only send the right people, give us discernment, but also to expand our territory. So one of my prayers is always, God, expand my territory. And sometimes because we don't have access to a lot, but we travel, but we don't think about, so we see that we can go to Cancun, we see we can go to Miami, we see we can go to the Bahamas, but that's the only thing you think about there is fun. But you don't realize while you're there, have you ever thought maybe your business could be in the Bahamas? You ever thought maybe your business could be in Cancun? So again, ask God to pray to expand your territory. So because he's done that now and he's exposed me to, you know, what's going on around our nation, what I get to see now is the problems that we have in Cleveland don't skip any other zip code. They exist. Our black people are poor in other cities all across America. Our black businesses are closing their doors all across America. So all I would say, what keeps me motivated is knowing that there's more people out here that need help. And again, I think now what he's just told me is, Larese, you got to keep doing the work because more people need to hear the story. More people need to get this information. More business need to be developed. And then while I'm doing it, though, is I'm bringing people into Cleveland and I'm taking people out of Cleveland with me as well.
That's good stuff.
So you just made a point that I keep hearing everybody say, I'm getting out of here. I'm taking my business elsewhere. So when people say, you know, I might have failed here, so I'm going to just close down and be done. Like, what's your advice to the people that might have lost the business? A store might have closed. The restaurant might have been shut down. Like, how do you recover?
And always remember, you know, a business is based on a projection. If you do the numbers for your business, you did a projection. You projected where you were going to go. And so the reality is that's not factual, it's not actual, it's a projection. So everybody opens the business with the anticipation of it growing. But sometimes when it don't grow, it was a projection in the first place. So again, it's businesses are going to fail. That's inevitable. So failure is only when you stay down. It's only when you stay down. It's like, so I'll tell you guys, we've opened restaurants on Lee Road, we've closed and we've sold them, and we thought this was going to be good, and you know, and it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. We thought we had the vision for it, but I'll tell you what I've learned the older I get is that's when you start doing stuff in the flesh, and you don't pray about it. So it's not just about seeing the numbers mesh. Does God say the same with you? Is he aligning with you? Is he sending the right people? Now in my career now, people are seeing stuff happening, and they're just like, you know, hey, like how is he moving like this? But they don't understand. Those have been years of prayers. That's been years of preparation. That's been years of learning and meeting new people and getting exposure and reading. So while y'all, and I'm going to throw this out to y'all, and it's a test for all y'all. I want y'all to pull y'all cell phones out, and I want y'all to go to that part on the phone that tells you how much time you spend on your phone every day. And it will tell you that you actually been on your phone 4 to 8 hours today. And half of y'all did it half while y'all was at work. I don't tell nobody that. But all that being said is, but you don't put no time into discovering the business that you're talking about going to change your life and build your family's legacy. So again, how many hours do you put into that? So it ain't about, stop chasing the social media posts.
Yeah.
Because happy grand opening, happy grand closing. So again, I would just say to everybody, just make sure that you do the work, because you're going to fail. I at least say, if I fail, know I put all I had into it. Just know that I've done my reading. Just know that I've done research. Just know that I've looked at the competitors. Know that I've done, reached out. And you may say, well, Larese, you have access. No, you got access to the Urban League. You got access to Jumpstart. You got access to ECDI. You got access to SCORE. You got access to SBA.gov. You got access. But again, maybe you need to clear off some of those social media apps and put some apps that's going to help you build some wealth. So again, it's where you're spending your time. So you spending 8 hours on TikTok and YouTube watching somebody else's business while your business failing. So again, they making money while you watching them, and you at home broke and can't pay the bills. So again, I don't have time to watch people making money when I don't have none. So
wow.
You feel convicted? I feel a little convicted right now.
I'm over here like I'm clutching my imaginary pearls right now. I feel like I just got called out, but that's something that we all need to hear.
No, absolutely.
Listen,
I convicted. I'm like, I don't look at my screen time tonight long.
I literally, and one of my students showed me her phone. She had been on there for 20 hours.
Yeah. Wow. That's right.
And I was like,
because they go to sleep with it in their ear. They go to sleep with it in their ear. Yeah. So they watching TV, and what happens, they go to sleep. But what they don't realize while they sleep, their dreams is based on that. Yep. So if you fall asleep with housewives in your ears, guess what? Then you waking up and you looking at your husband sideways because you don't have that portion of driveway because, they talking about taking trips all over the world. So now you evaluate yourself on fake happiness. Yeah. So again, I watch what's in my ear gates. My wife got me watching TV. I've watched more TV with my wife than I've watched TV in my whole life. Because I don't really watch TV. People are like, Larese, did you see such and such? I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Because again, it's all where you put your time. So if you're trying to grow, like, you got to read. If you ain't read a book, then stop talking about you leveling. So I look at hashtag different. People talking about getting the bag. I always say, what bag? What bag we talking about? Right. And then when people say leveling on what? So if I walk up to you and say, what's the last book you read? You like, and then I say, okay, then what's the last time you read a book?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's been like 6 or 7 years. I'm like, well, okay, you in that industry,
I feel caught up.
You want to grow, but you ain't never read a book that's going to help you grow in that industry. I read articles before I start. So I read my word when I get in my office every morning, and I read an article about my business. So again, I'll tell you, what's the last conference you've been about your business? What's the last industry leading thing to make sure that you continue to elevate? Because if you think you got all the answers, it's somebody out here doing 10 times better than you that you can learn from. So again, it's like we gotta make sure that we go after the information that's out there, and it's free. It's free, y'all. The most powerful tool that we possess, that we didn't possess 20 years ago, is Google. Google. Now, I'm not saying everything on there is right, but again, it's a starting point.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I know I feel convicted today, y'all.
Listen, I'm gonna hit you up this week, like, Brandon, we gotta pick a book.
Yeah,
we gotta pick a book up.
I'm gonna ask y'all.
We gonna get a book club. We gonna get a pull-up experience book club.
There we go.
We gotta do it.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. So we'll talk afterwards on that.
I said it first.
Well, technically you did. But
So once again, I want to give you flowers because you did something powerful for the Real Black Friday that I don't think the likes of Cleveland have seen since, or probably ever will again. You created an event where you got all the businesses and you bring them downtown, and you celebrated the business, and you activated all of us to come down there and spend with these different businesses and whatnot. I want to ask you what went into, because people, like I said, people see the glory, but they don't see what went into that. What are some things that you had to go through to get that to manifest?
So are we gonna talk about after maybe 300 hate letters I get?
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. People
don't
talk
about
so people got time to do that.
So we want to talk about the death threats I've gotten to do it.
Wow.
We're gonna talk about after that.
Wow.
We're gonna talk about the calls I get to why you helping black people and why you focus on black people. They not gonna help themselves.
Wow.
They gonna walk around with sagging pants. They gonna walk around and keep stealing. They gonna walk around and keep selling drugs. They gonna walk around and just not get educated. They gonna walk around and not go after what they should work and have a job every day. They gonna go after what?
Yeah.
So that we're gonna talk. That's what we have to start first, because that's what I get to do, that work. And so when I start off, when you ask me the initial question, why does it hurt? Because people don't see what you go through in order to do the work you do. Don't always think that people are happy when you're doing something that's gonna change a community. So don't get it twisted. People get rich off of our people making money. And this might sound grand, so people are like, well, I saw Larese, he was at the park, and I saw, you know, he had a security that was like near him. And yeah, you don't realize that, you know, I had, you know, 4 people sending death threats to me. So it's like, guess what? I told y'all I love y'all, but guess who I love more? So I gotta watch and make sure that somebody got their eyes on my kids and my wife, because guess what? They can't get to me. Guess who they gonna get to? They gonna get to them. And I can't go to sleep at night knowing that I didn't protect my family while they were trying to support me and doing the work I do for this community. So again, I would say people don't see the long nights. And don't forget, y'all, I'm a small business owner as well. I think people forget that. I'm a small business owner as well. So when I do stuff like that in the community, that means that I can't go out, and if I like to golf, I can't go out and go to the movies, you know, my wife that weekend for about 3 or 4 months. That means that we can't travel, because I got to get in the grind. So when I go work that 12, 14 hours that I work running my company, then I got to come home. So I can go a month going on 3 hours of sleep to do the work that I do for the community. And they say, well, Larese doing that for money. He getting money doing that. And I'll tell you to be very clear. If I was doing it for money, I would do what I do for a living. And if I look at all the hours I spend into that, my business would be that much well off if I just focus my time on that. So again, it ain't for that, y'all. It's because, again, it's my calling. Even with all the beat ups I get and all the noxious, not from our community, I get, it takes a lot of work, man. It takes people, you know, and then you get people who come around you and want to help you. They don't have a heart. They come because they're looking for, like, hey, I can get access, you know. So, but what I've done is I've not let one person give me a black heart, though. And we got to be careful with that, you know, because one person will make us put up a wall that will stop God's blessing, because God sends blessings through people. So if you put the wall up and let nobody in, and there's no way in, they can't bring you the blessing God have for you. So again, what I just do on that wall, I make sure I keep the opening there, but I also have some people that oversee it, like my wife, like my kids, like people who have been around me for years that can see what I can't see, but I don't close and not give access through that door anymore. So, but I'll tell you, it takes a lot of work, a lot of planning. It takes, and I'm crazy enough to ask for stuff that people be like, black people gonna be there? Like, and if you guys look back at stuff I've done, Edgewater was a park that we never went to because as little kids when we went there would be needles on the ground. It was dirty. But guess what? The reason why I did it, I took black people back there because the Metro Parks took it over. And it became one of the most beautiful beaches in the city of Cleveland. So what I said was, I want to bring our black people back and let them experience when it was good, not remember when it was bad. Okay, Public Square used to be where you don't go down there because homeless people might attack you, or people will come up to you and be talking crazy to you and whatever. It's our own people. We sometimes be scared of our own people. But all that being said is, when they made it beautiful again, guess where I brought black people back? Black people, this our city. We gonna come back and celebrate. When they put all that $20 million into it, I brought our black people back. Hey, Tower City, getting ready to put $120 million into that. Guess where I brought black people back? Come back and see it, y'all. I want y'all to have access to it. So again, when I do this work, it is to make sure that I give access to our people. So, but it takes a lot of work, y'all. A lot of sacrifices. Putting a lot of my own money into it, my own time, you know, my people on my team, they're all professionals, have jobs, have families. So it takes a lot of work, man. And it takes a lot of people that say comments to me like, well, I got to give you money. Don't y'all have y'all own money? Won't your community take care of yourselves? So again, because sometimes we the only community because we won't bond together, we won't spend money together, we won't make our money cycle so many times, so many days in our community, where it's like we have to go out and ask others for money. And that really sometimes it bothers me because there's enough wealth in our community that we should be to do whatever we want. You won't see, when the last time somebody from Little Italy called you to ask you to sponsor their event? When the last time somebody from Asia Town called you and asked you to sponsor an event? They ain't calling you. Because guess what? The Jewish community, you ain't never seen no Jewish person call and say, can you be my sponsor? Because they don't need you. Because even if they don't like each other, they do business together.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, y'all.
They told me clearly, love you, Larese. I don't really rock with him, but he gonna be my tax guy because he's Jewish. And I'm like, respect that. Respect that.
Right, we all like, man. No, man, and I once again, I want to commend you because like we all see the final product. We see when it looks all glitz and glamour. Like you just blew me away with that. I wouldn't expect that to happen for you.
Yeah, I went to North Carolina just recently, and I never had to really, I had to watch the post every second on the second, and it was like, N-word this, wigger this, that, you don't belong here, you racist, this and this. Like literally, I had and I didn't want to cut the comments off because I really wanted to see like, man, for me, it actually gave me more motivation to sound crazy. I was like, I want to see this to see how crazy people gonna get. Because I want to see like, oh, this is how bad this work need to get done.
Right.
And then sometimes, again, that was a motivator for me because I'm like, oh, this shows me that our people got to get this work done.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have an option whether I can do this work now. Like, and it was crazy. And that was just recently. That was that was recent, like 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I probably had, no exaggeration, close to 400 like racist comments. And then I got a couple messages like, we're gonna take care I get some crazy stuff.
Wow.
I never would have known any of these things. But that goes to show how you as a person can still see the greater good. You still see the vision. Yeah. And it's hard for a lot of people to see past that. Right. So that's shoot. Yeah.
And let me ask you, because like most people, like you are an anomaly. What I mean, like, because most people would have got that and they would have just stopped doing everything. Yeah. They were like, you know what? Forget it.
Not Martin Luther King.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So what keeps you going in those moments where you like I love how you say like that shows you that it has to be done because the pushback again, the turmoil you're going through and whatnot. But I mean, you're human. You're human. Yeah. What keeps you going in those moments where you like, oh man, I don't know if it's worth it or whatnot.
Yeah. It's the passion and the purpose, and again, guys, I would say to y'all, it's most people will die not knowing their purpose. Most people will do something they like, but that don't mean it's your purpose.
Yeah.
You will do something you enjoy, that don't mean it's your purpose. You go play golf because you love it. Yeah. It's not your purpose. Yeah. And I can honestly say that at this point in my life that I'm in purpose. And if I died today, I can say that I walk in my purpose that God has for me. And I would just say to y'all, it is like, for me, it's like I can't. It's like Jeremiah on the wall in the word. Yeah. I can't come down. It's like, when they and somebody gave me a word on this about a month ago when I was going through and just all kind of crazy stuff with people in this community, and I go through that, even with a lot of our confused friends. So y'all didn't catch that, but we got a lot of confused friends.
No, I caught it.
Yeah, so all that being said is, she said, in the word when it talks about that parable, and people were shouting up to him, you got to come down. They're down here slandering your name. They're talking bad about you. You got to come down and address this stuff. And he said, if I come down, the wall won't get finished. And where I'm at in life now is I can't come down because somebody is going to die in poverty. Somebody will not be a homeowner. Somebody will not start the business that has filled them and they can't sleep at night. Somebody will not change their family's legacy if I come down. So again, what I can't do is come down for the nonsense and stuff that's not going to change nobody's life. And unfortunately, sometimes the people who want me to come down look like me. So unfortunately, what I have to even do is be here, because even with them, while they talking about me, sometimes I'm helping their cousins, I'm helping their grandmother, I'm helping somebody connected to them, and they don't even realize the blessing I am to them indirectly at all given times. So again, I'll just tell y'all, I can't come down. It's just because I'm very clear that God has a lot of work for me to do, and it's only the beginning, I feel like.
Okay, the name of the episode, I Can't Come Down.
Steve.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That literally just sums up this whole conversation.
No, you're right. That comes to it all. No, that's awesome. Okay, so we talk about the past. We talk about the present. Let's talk about the future. What you have? What does the future hold for you and for every endeavor you have going on? I know you said the YMCA. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
So I am running I'll be the first person in Cleveland's history for the 100 Black Men of America. I'm running for one of their constitutional positions, and I'm running to be the national treasurer for the 100 Black Men of
Come
America.
on now. Come on, let's hit that one time.
So my prayer, I asked y'all to pray for me that I get that. I got to go to the national convention and speak and campaign, and they'll vote there. But if I do that, I already know that that's going to lead me into doing stuff all across our globe. And I would say, though, the one thing, though, is Cleveland will always be with me. And I will continue to bring people with me along the journey. And I will continue to bring people. You said something earlier, Sam. People say, I get tired, so I'm leaving here. I'm going to take my No, I think the blessing is when God elevates you, it's to bring some of the resources back to where He started you. So sometimes what we do is we elevate, and then we go somewhere else, and they get the blessings. What you worked your whole career for, and they don't even know you. So I want the people who remember me when they would have my back, cover me, and all that, to see that what God's work has done, and it can be a blessing to them as well. So again, I would just say that so that's something I'm really proud of. I'm excited about. God says the same. I prayerfully that happens. And then I would say I'm teaching at HBCUs. So I signed a national deal. I'm working with Wells Fargo and an organization called Our Money Matters. And what I do is last year I traveled to 12 HBCUs around the country. I've committed to them till the end of next year, 2024. And what I'm going to do is go in and not wait for us to then try to become wealthy. The worst thing that we say is life should be our best teacher. That's the worst saying that we could ever say to our young people. What I'm doing is starting with kids that are going in as freshmen, and by the time they leave as seniors, they will have 800 credit scores. Do you know how that will change their lives? So imagine if I get 100,000 kids that look like us to leave college with an 800 score. Now they're buying their house, they're getting the best jobs, because if you're an HR professional and you pull their credit and they're only 21 years old, they have an 800, their score is probably better than yours. But now what you're going to do is say, oh, not only do they got good grades, they got good character, and they pay their bills, and they understand their last name means something. So again, and then the other thing that's really important I'm teaching them as well is how to negotiate. Because if we talk about not building wealth, most kids who leave college say, when I leave college, I don't want to go to college because I leave in student loan debt. What I'm going to do is teach them how to first, while they build that 800 scores, how to find money to leave school debt free. But then when they leave school is, when you get that first contract from that first job, you got an 800 score. And, I've taught you how to make sure you build wealth at a young age. So what I'm going to do is then also tell you, don't take that $50,000, go back and tell me you want $70,000. Because if you take $50,000, that was $20,000 that could have went into your 401k and you can max it out. We're going to stop letting them leave money on the table to make sure we build wealth at a young age. So again, I'm going to teach them the art of negotiation. It is going to change the future of our kids leaving HBCUs. So I'm going to tell you, when you talk about passion and what I'm excited about is being able to impact young people.
Listen, and like we're millennials, but we still use information. You know what I'm saying? It's not over for us yet, y'all. So no, because Sam over, I heard her in her voice, she's like, oh. Man, I'm younger.
The negotiation part.
Right. You ain't never lied.
The mark.
You ain't never lied. But hey, you live and you learn, and that's what I'm saying. I love we're in an age where people like Larese, people like so many people are making the information known. To where there's no excuse as to why. If you live in poverty, it's because you want to be there. Because now people are giving us the information, giving us the game, showing us the way. You want to be broke? It literally is on you now. So no, thank you for that. So, okay, and I know we probably covered it like 3 times over, but I have certain questions I ask everyone on the show, whatever. I know staple questions or whatnot, but because the reason why we started this podcast, it'd be 2 years in July, and when we started, we literally said we wanted to showcase entrepreneurs in their city, whether they have 5 followers or 5 million followers, whether or not, as long as you can inspire, empower, or educate entrepreneurs, we want you on. And one thing we realized that Cleveland has a bad stigma. And the collaboration piece is, some people say it's non-existent. You see it in Atlanta, and you see it in New York, you see it other places. And we want to be able to change that narrative. And you are an example of someone who changed the narrative. What do you think are some more ways we can do to help change the narrative overall?
We got to get our money together. We got to get our, let's start where we got to start. Broke people can't help broke people.
I'm sorry.
So how I'm gonna focus on helping you when I can't even pay my bills? And the difference is we a lot of times in Cleveland we compare Atlanta, but let's be honest. How many black people do you see driving around in Rolls Royces, Land Rovers, Range Rovers, Ferraris, a lot, right?
Yeah.
And in Cleveland, if you see somebody riding around there, you know who they are.
Yeah,
because it's only a couple of them, right? You know who they are. So again, until we address that poverty mindset and actually the poverty that we live in, because guess what? It's people who are corporate people that still live in poverty.
Yes.
Because you could make 100,000 and still have a poverty mindset.
Yeah.
And you still live in check to check. 64% of people who make over $100,000 live paycheck to paycheck still.
Wow.
So don't get it twisted because they make money, they have money.
Right.
So again, I teach when I go out and teach financial literacy. One of the last things I always say is, not only do I want you to make money, but I want you to be a blessing to others. But I understand is you got to use these tools first, and you got to create margin so you can be a blessing. So it comes down to collaboration. Well, if you ain't got no money, and I want to do this event, it costs $10,000, and you don't have no money, it's hard for me to work with you because you ain't even ready. Sometimes we want collaboration before we ready. So it's like asking somebody to give me access to a table, but I come unprepared. So what happens is I never get invited back.
Right.
So be very careful of prematurely asking for a collaboration. So again, it's levels to everything. And I would just say to us all is, meet with people. I try to be willing to meet with people, but I'll just be very honest with you, and I just have to be real. It's hard. It's hard because time. We've been trying to get on this episode.
Thank you, by the way. Thank you, by the way.
We've been working, man. And and I told Char, I called Char. I woke up one morning and I was like, I saw your page, you posted something. I said, and I called Char, like, Char, call them today and get that on the schedule. I said, get it on the schedule. I want to get there however I can get there. If it got to be a weekend, whatever. So all that being said is be careful of judging people too, because you don't know what people have going on in their life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So sometimes we'll be like, well, that person did this and they ain't asked nobody, but you don't know. They could have lost their father.
Absolutely.
They could have had somebody sick in their family, and they just kind of had to just get it done without having to ask a lot of people because their time was limited. So again, let's not be judgmental every time somebody don't call somebody support. But if we have the opportunity, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. But the last thing I'll say about collaboration as well, stop asking people to collaborate and you don't. So you get a lot of people and you want to hold them accountable, but you don't do it.
You don't do it.
And don't wake up and call me and talk about what I should do, first of all. Stop telling me what I should do. A lot of people call me and be like, Larese, he don't do this. I don't do it with you. I don't do it with you, but I do it with other people. And I just have to be serious about that and be honest. It's like, so again, and then sometimes it just don't work. Make sure it works. Make sure y'all got on the same page. Y'all got the same vision. For me, it's like I want people that have integrity, that follow through, that execute, that ain't doing something behind my back. I'm trying to get something done, and you doing stuff like that don't work well for me, because when I stand in front of y'all and I look at y'all, because y'all come out to the events and y'all support, like I take that very seriously. My team knows. Once I say I'm gonna do something, my wife knows that. If that means I don't sleep the rest of the week, that's getting done. Because if the day I lose the trust of the people, I may as well stop doing everything.
Man. that was the best one we had this far, by the way. I know I say it every time, but it keeps getting better and better.
It's elevating.
Absolutely. So, okay, and this is another question I ask everybody. So, I love this question because I was watching the episode, interview of Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace to him, and he was talking about his legacy. And when I look at when he said that, he accomplished everything he set out to do. So my question I ask all our guests, because inevitably we're all going to pass away, but the legacy we leave behind for for us as individuals and for our ministers are two different things, but it's something that entrepreneurs, I don't think we take enough time to think about. So what do you want your legacy to be for you and then for your business as a whole?
So my legacy is that how I know that I've been able to accomplish it is based on the impact, how many people I've impacted in their lives. So it's not about just only what my family will have, because I feel like God will continue to provide as long as I continue to sow the right seeds and be a blessing to others. Again, I'm at a place, and it took time to get here. So I want to say that humbly, that God, because I've worked hard.
Right.
So again, ain't nobody like I worked hard, y'all. But I've created margins. I try to live what I teach. So I save money. I make sure I have good credit. I do certain things. So I may have not be able to do this to be able to do that. So all that being said is, so I'm at a place in my career now where I'm trying to get back as much as I can. So my company, even CLE, I have to sometimes check myself and be like, hey, Louise, this is a for-profit company, because everything I touch, I want it to be mission. You know, and the reality is, but when I sat in my conference room just last week and I looked across the table and I see 17 black people that I hired and they're full-time accountants, and I'm not only impacted my life and my family's life, but that's 17 families of professional, degreed individuals that I'm impacting their lives. Not just with the salary I give them, the mentorship I give them, the development I give them, the confidence I allow them to build in the industry. So these are going to be game changers. They will be future CFOs. They will be future CEOs of companies one day. So that's how I know I'm working in God's order. But the other thing is my goal is I don't have a number for it, because God could say tomorrow it's my last time. So I feel like as long as I listen to his calling clearly and I activate on what he gives me, then I feel like if he took me home today, I've accomplished what he wanted me to accomplish. Because we don't know when that day is.
Right.
So again, it's like that dash. Your birth date and your death date. What does that dash mean? What is that dash? And so right now, if he, again, I'm not trying to be morbid, but if he took me home today, I think my dash is complete. I think he would be proud of me. So
we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Nobody else says it, because I know sometimes when you reach a certain level, you don't get that I'm proud of you. It's I see what you're doing. Big money, all of that. But telling somebody that you're proud of them, to me, holds a lot more weight than all of those other things. So we are proud of you.
Appreciate that. Proud of y'all too.
Thank you.
Look,
we all like, oh shit.
So, okay, and my last one, and I feel like any great interview should have key takeaways. Because I know they pencil and pad is probably blazing on what they've been hitting us with tonight. But what are 3 takeaways you want someone to have from tonight's interview? And it could be something you didn't get a chance to say, or just, just 3 key points.
One, I'm going to say, be comfortable being uncomfortable. And the only way you're going to expand your territory is being in rooms. Stop going in all the rooms that you know everybody. You already know them. They already know your business. and if they already know your business and support it, they're going to start supporting it today. So again, and then you can only grow as big as you expose yourself to. So remember, there's somebody always watching you, that they're growing at your level, at your rate. So if I have a staff and they're only growing the way I develop them, if I don't grow, then that means I stunt their growth. So again, I would say that. Other thing is, make sure that you create margins, create wealth, and create legacy. So for me, I would just say to everybody is, I want everybody listening to me. This is a homework assignment. Like, I ain't gonna give you the cliche saying right now. I'm gonna tell you, it's called a personal financial statement. Black people, if I came to you right now and I tell you, tell me what Jay-Z is worth, tell me what Beyonce's worth, tell me what Kanye's worth, y'all would shout it out. But if I tell a room full of people, auditorium, shout out what you worth, we couldn't say it. So the only way we're going to change and tighten that wealth gap is we're going to have to understand our worth. Because if we don't understand our worth, we don't know where we're going. So for you all listening, if you're going to create your family a legacy and leave a legacy, you got to know where you're starting so you know where you're going. So I would say do that homework assignment. And the last thing is, make sure you hire people and let them do what they do. So my power of 5 is your accountant, your attorney, your financial advisor, your insurance broker, and your banker. But I gotta do 4, man.
No, you know what? You have license.
I gotta say this one.
First time.
And then, I always gotta say, I gotta put that full circle, is make sure you keep God in the midst of it.
There we go.
And let him order your steps. Keep in prayer, and sometimes stop the noise, because God is actually silent. The world is noisy, but God is silent, y'all. And if you let too much noise in your space, you'll miss what God is saying. So for me, I try to make sure I go in spaces so I don't miss him. So, and then I would say my family, have your family, and fellas out there listening to me, take care of your woman. Understand, if you take care of her, she'll take care of you.
That's good.
And a happy wife is a happy life. and I'm going to tell y'all now, the best thing that I could have had, if we out here having kids, we out here dating, marry that woman. Put a ring on it, marry her. I want to see more married families. Because I'm going to tell y'all now, statistically, when a kid has 2 parents, he's that much more likely to be successful. So again, I want to see not only us build black wealth, but I want to see us build black families. So again, I love all y'all listening. And B, I'm proud of you, brother. Man. Sam, you know, Britt, you know, like, hey, I appreciate y'all for having me on.
Look, I'm gonna walk out of here like.
Look.
Listen, this has literally been an interview that I've been looking for since we started this podcast. So I want to thank you. And I can't tell you, they say don't meet your heroes, you know what I'm saying? But they really do, you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate it, and thank you for giving us the blueprint. Because once again, we see your greatness, and it inspires us to do great things. So thank you for being an example to us all.
I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate it. And let's keep each other in prayer.
Absolutely.
Let's lift each other up. Let's speak positive words to each other, and let's kill the negativity, man.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, save that breath. It takes more energy to be negative than positive. So in our community, we got enough people killing us, literally killing us. Then we need to be killing each other. So again, like, let's speak life into each other. And I'm telling y'all right now, we're gonna have a better future than we had a past. And I'm ready for us to build wealth. Cleveland is a place that people are going to be proud to live in and proud to visit.
Absolutely.
But it's going to take us all standing together and loving on each other to get it done.
For sure.
That's good stuff. So lastly, where can the people reach you, or they want to learn more about how they can get in contact you with the many ventures you got going on?
Call my wife, 216. No, hit me on social media, Larese Purnell. You know, I'm on all IG, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Hit me there. You know, call my office. You know, I tell people that. You know, talk to Shar. Shar gonna lead you to me. I have to be honest. You know, people like, I've been DMing you. Like, I actually work a job, y'all. I got a company. Like, I don't check them DMs like every day. I don't have time to be on that. My hours on the phone are probably less than 2 hours a day. Maybe y'all need to cut down that 14 hours or 2 hours. You can spend another 12 hours making money. So I don't know. So I'm just telling y'all. But no, hit me on those social platforms, and just know, I want to make sure I say this. I'm praying for all of you guys. My success don't stop your success. If my light shines, your light can shine too, and it ain't gonna dim yours because mine is shining. So keep shining out there, and know that God has a purpose for everybody listening. You just gotta be listening.
That's good stuff. What do you say? We gotta pay some bills first. So, lastly, guys, it's coming July 15th to 16th, guys. We're showing you how to create your podcast. We're training you and teaching you to go from concept to systems to monetization. 2 days, guys. It's got so much information. This is episode 134. So that's 134 episodes. We have shown you guys. We have the proof. We have the proven system now. Now we're showing you how to do it now. Because just like how back in the day, you need a website for your business, you need a social media for your business. Now we're saying you need a podcast. Because how can you show your authority in your business? You're an expert in your field. Podcasting. Need content. Need content for your business. Start a podcast. So we're showing you guys. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we're the first to actually have something like this before. So please come out. Tickets are $25. I feel like that's a fair trade for what we're going to treat you for 2 days of training and whatnot, information. So please, guys, sign up for that also.
And I'm paying for 8 people to do it.
I'm going.
Oh, wow.
I'm paying for 8 people. I'm paying for 8 people.
Y'all heard it.
So ain't no excuse.
Yeah,
I'm paying for 8 people.
Can't sell your home and tired of carrying that load? Drop the house. Gutter Properties will buy your house as is with offers up to $300,000. Need serious repairs, liens, taxes, or judgments? We'll work through your unique situation to get that house off your back. During your free, no-obligation appraisal, we maintain social distancing and take every precaution to ensure your experience is safe. Drop the house. Gutter Properties. Call us or visit gutterproperties.com today.
Take care of that. 8 people we paying for, so make sure you sign up.
That's awesome. No, thank you.
Man.
And then lastly, guys, September 23rd, guys, the Kia 2U Wines, they're having the first black wine and beer festival at Canyon Park, guys. It's going to be like the fair reunion you've been invited to. Please come out. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have music. It's going to be black and brown vendors who create their own beer and wine. It's going to be a great time. So please, we'll have a link available for you guys to get your tickets now. So if you're a vendor and you'd like to participate, also we have a link for that also. So if you guys want to participate in that, let us know, okay? Guys, this has been episode 134. This has been an awesome interview.
Yeah.
We can't thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank your wife allowing us to have you on
Yes,
today.
thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
and we thank you guys once again tuning every week because the subscribe, y'all keep subscribing. It's rising. Sam was talking about earlier. She's like, you can't believe how we just keep growing, and it goes to show once again that you guys love seeing what we're doing here in Cleveland. You love seeing entrepreneurs. You love hearing these great stories that keep inspiring, educating you, and keep empowering you. So we're not gonna stop. If anything, we went to the Pink and Black Honors last night. We literally said we're not gonna run an episode anytime soon. So y'all keep watching. We're gonna keep bringing great people like Larese on. So until next time, guys, we'll see you. All right, peace.